Hello everyone, I'm Jack Allen and I want to welcome you to another episode of Jack of All Trades. Today I think you're in for an interesting view of what we have here in Bethel Park along the T line. We have flower beds on West Library Road and Brightwood Road, and they're maintained by volunteers in our community. So today we're not going to show you just the flower beds themselves, but we're also going to show you and introduce you to the volunteers that maintain these flower beds. I hope you enjoy the show. Our first stop today is our flower bed planting area on a corner of West Library Road and Center Street. I have the privilege of introducing Richard Chongaway. Out of all the flower beds that we have, they're usually by companies or organizations. Richard decided to do one on his own. He's done a terrific job. So welcome to our program.
Thank you.
If you could just give us a little background information on who you are, what you do for the community. People have seen you obviously, and a little bit about how you came up with the concept of your flower bed.
As the mayor mentioned, I'm a local resident. I reside on Belmont Avenue, next street down. The history of the flower boxes: originally a lady from Belmont, I believe 1970, 1980, started both boxes, 1 and 2. The woman in the house, the White House behind me, her name is Regina. She took it over after that lady could no longer do it. Her husband volunteered at her request. Both boxes, one of the small boxes is named Jean, the larger box is named Regina. They had a number of children in the family and they helped with the boxes. I took it over when I saw this box being claimed. I took over number 1 when this box was being claimed, and I live close by, so I come by here often. This is a 4-season box. I have used artificial flowers all year long when I realized that water is a problem. The vegetation I have in there now, the natural vegetation, is drought resistant, and it has been doing very well. I have the opportunity to augment it with the artificial flowers, changing it during the seasons. The flags that you see out front are a reminder of the Veterans Breakfast Club. They meet at Christ Methodist Church and the Vietnam Veterans Incorporated. They have a breakfast at Giovanni Annie's at Castle Shannon, usually on a Thursday morning. The virus has caused that to be a problem. The flags out front represent the 6 branches of the services: Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, Marines, Merchant Marines, and the Navy. I don't want to forget the Navy. 2 other flags associated with it, the PIA, POW, and the Wounded Warriors. The people that didn't come back are honored. The people that came back injured and wounded is a big problem. As you can see, it's a 4-season display. On the upper part, I have some hangings that I put up on occasion for Halloween, Memorial Day, St. Patrick's Day, and Valentine's Day. And I change them out when the holidays occur. Other part here too is there's 16 flower pots opposite Bethel Bakery. Water is a problem there. I decided to do some vegetation cutting there and put in some artificial flowers in that area. I think it's an improvement for that area also. Any questions, Mayor?
No, thank you. I do want to mention, I was going to mention Bethel Bakery because you're doing the flower pots down there now. We're still looking for a permanent person to do that. But I just want to thank you for what you're doing. As I mentioned before, this is a program that's been going on for over 20 years. and we're finally recognizing people that are taking care of it, that stepped up to do it for the people that go along West Library Road and Brightwood Road. So Richard, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here today.
Our next stop today on the trolley beautification project is actually right in front of the municipal building. And I have with me today Amy Morrow and Eva Parker. They are members of the Black Hawk Family Relief. I just want to ask them exactly, well, first of all, they just took this flower bed or planting area over just in the last couple months. So they're our newest kid on the block. So if you could just tell us how you got involved with this project.
We got involved because we were asked to help and take over a box, which we were more than happy to do. We were excited that it was right in front of the municipal building and that everyone that comes in and out of the municipal complex gets to see the box. So we wanted something bright and cheerful and nice looking for everybody to enjoy as they drive past and not stare directly at the trolley tracks. So that was how we came to take over and start working on the box.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you taking over. You do have a prime location. But if you can tell us a little bit about who, and for most of the people that the residents here know about the Black Hawk Family Relief, but if you can tell us a little bit about what you do, how long you've been around, and so on.
We are with the Black Hawk Family Relief Fund, which is a local Bethel Park volunteer organization. There are several members on the board. Chris Van Dyke is the president. I am the vice president. Eva is the secretary. Sydney Litzenberger is the treasurer. And then we have Shayna Willis, Larry Shaw, and Brandon Hoffman as members at large on our board. We focus primarily on local Bethel Park only is the reach that we do. Families, residents that could need any kind of help for whatever's going on. We started primarily around the time of the flood 2 years ago, when very many of our residents needed some help. We collect donations, raise money, and then do what we can to help out residents in the community that are going through any kind of a hard time, whether it's a tragic loss of a family member, an illness, the flooding, house fires, anything that would warrant them being in need of any kind of help. We do what we can to try and make that hard time a little bit easier for them.
Well, I do know from firsthand that your organization was an integral part of the flood that was 2 years ago. And I also do want to mention that your organization was delivering food when this pandemic first started 2 or 3 times a week to shut in. So you do a lot. Now, if someone wants to get a hold of your organization, how would they do that?
If you wanted to get a hold of our organization, you can do so by mail. It's 413 Chesbrier Drive in Bethel Park would be our mailing address. You can find our Facebook page. We are working on a website currently to get that up and running. Or you can look up any of us on Facebook and feel free to message us, reach out to us any way, shape, or form. Eva's also with the fire department, so she's easy to get a hold of.
Okay.
So it's not too hard to get a hold of any of us.
We certainly appreciate you taking over and doing this beautiful job, and the people will see the pictures. But on another note, I did want to mention that Eva's been around Bethel Park for a long time. In fact, she was probably one of my first softball players when my kids were small. So Eva and I go back a long way. So again, thank you very much for your help, and congratulations to the Black Hawk Family Relief Fund.
Thank you very much.
Hello, this is Mayor Allen, and I'm here to let you know that we had to make a difficult decision to cancel this year's Community Day that was scheduled for Saturday, September 12th. This wasn't a decision that we made lightly. To help guide us, we created an online Community Day survey on our Facebook page to garner your feedback. We also reviewed the most current COVID-19 guidelines from both the county and the state. After reviewing nearly 2,000 survey responses and taking all other necessary information into consideration, we arrived at this decision. However, you can be sure that we will be holding our Community Day again next fall, and we truly appreciate your understanding. However, this fall, we'll be bringing back our Live Well Bethel Park Wellness Series virtually, featuring programs that you requested, as well as a few other fun community events. This will be held in light of all the COVID restrictions. So please check our Facebook page, the Municipality of Bethel Park, and our website, www.bethelpark.net, for more information and updates. In other news, now would be a great time to trim your trees. We're asking property owners to remove or cut back tree branches along the edge of the roadways to keep them clear and safe for drivers, school buses, and municipal workers who need to pave and plow them. Tree limbs, branches, and shrubbery should be trimmed back to approximately 4 feet from the curb and to a height of 14 feet. Please consider taking all of these trees and branches down now. Finally, just a quick reminder that we are still under a nation or statewide mask order to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And please keep in mind that indoor events and gatherings are still limited to no more than 25 people, and outdoor gatherings should be needed to be at 50 people or less. We thank you for your cooperation, and God bless. Our next stop on our trolley beautification project along the T-line in the Bethel Park is with Jim Jenkins, and today I have Jim and his wife Lisa with us. Jim, how long have you been part of our trolley beautification?
Several years. I think this is the third year.
Okay. And I'm not sure, we've been doing this probably for 25 years now or close to it, and we've had a lot of people that change, they come and go, but you guys have not only taken your spot on the corner of is it Sarah Street? No, Mesta Street and West Library, but you also have 2 spots here. So if you can tell us a little bit how you got involved and what exactly you do and what's your routine.
Well, we were contacted by the mayor to if we were interested in a planter bed, and we said most definitely. Like to do things to help out around Bethel Park. I've been here all my life, so has Lisa. So we took these 2 beds on here by the corner near St. Valentine's, and Lisa does a lot more of the planning and designing of what goes in there, and then I come along and do the watering. So I come up here about 3 nights a week and water everything to keep it looking good, especially with the heat we're having now.
Yeah.
It's not easy to keep the stuff looking good and healthy.
Now, from a person whose wife kills plants as soon as she gets them, we have very few plants at our house. How do you determine what you actually plant in these 2 areas?
Well, Lisa does most of that. She takes and picks out things that are going to really thrive in the heat and the bright sunshine. And also up here, even though we're right by the tracks and there's deer everywhere, we plant things that the deer aren't going to eat. So we've been pretty successful this year. The beds look really nice. There's a mixture of lantana and pentas and blue salvia, some purple fountain grass. And so far there's only been 1 or 2 plants have been nibbled on and they walked away from them. So that's a good sign.
So just for our residents that live here, you're saying if they plant those flowers that you mentioned, those are pretty much deer proof?
Pretty much deer proof, yes.
Okay, well that's a nice thing to know right there, because I see, people have fences up so deer don't get in for anything. But obviously it doesn't look like you have a problem here.
No, we've been pretty successful. Last year we had a lot of zinnias in here, and the zinnias are very deer resistant as well, and they did pretty well. But we wanted to change it up a little bit this year and try some different things.
Yeah. Well, it looks great. And how often, especially when it's 90 degrees out, how often do you have to water your planting area?
I've been coming up every other night and watering for the last few weeks that it's been so hot.
Okay.
We have had a few rains here and there, but the rain isn't really soaking in that well and doing that good of a job.
Well, for those who don't know who Jim Jenkins is, he has a retail store down on Painters Run Road in Scott Township. You've probably seen his trucks around in the wintertime, although we haven't had much snow this past winter. But if you could just tell us just a little bit about your business, how long you've been around. And
Oh, a long time. I've been on Painters Run Road for 38 years. Prior to that, when I was a kid, my dad and I started shrubs and stuff at 88 and Logan Road when I was 13, and then I ended up over there 38 years ago, and we plow a lot of snow in the winter, and as Jack said, the red trucks get seen a lot of places. But
okay. All right. Well, we want to thank you for being part of our program.
Okay.
A lot of people drive on these two roads. Obviously, you've seen a lot of traffic on a daily basis. They see the planting areas, but they're really not sure of what they are, who takes care of them, how they got there. So we're going to let them know exactly what to look at next time they go through. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, Jack. I've had a lot of people stop and say, hey, can you come water my flowers too? But by the time I get done here and then go home and
I did give him
all our flowers. So.
I gave my address, so Jim lives near me. I'm sure my plants, well, we don't have plants. So, okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack.
Our next stop today is right on the corner of South Park Road in Brightwood, right in front of D.L. Ritchie Paint Company. And the Lions Club is actually, the Bethel Park Lions Club is sponsoring this particular bed. So with me from the Lions Club is Sandy Demas and David Lovejoy. And I was talking to them a little bit before we went on air, and there's quite a story around here. Also, I wanted to introduce Dave Ritchie, who's in the background, who owns D.L. Ritchie here. So welcome. We appreciate you doing this. We have at the time 9 flower beds, planting areas right now. To just tell us how long you've been involved and give us a little background on your planting area and how you plant what you put in.
All right, thanks, Mayor Jack. And I'd also like to introduce Dave Ritchie, whose mother actually started this whole thing way back in the mid-'90s with Mayor Hoffman and Bill Knaus and Dave's mother, Bernice Ritchie. They got started with this idea of doing these plantings, and this is the original planting from, well, I guess that's more than 20 years ago. So Ivanovich Landscaping helped set up these, I guess you call them containers here originally, and provided some of the original perennials that we have here, like that big pine tree you see back there, some of the grass, stuff like that. Now, the Lions Club didn't take this over until about 3 years ago when our president at the time was approached by the borough and said, hey, we have a plot that needs taken care of. Would you like to do that? And so we have been working on this for the past 3 years. When we got here, we had weeds that were almost as tall as I am. I think they were taller than Sandy here, as a matter of fact. And we had a giant weeding party to clear that out. And since then, we've been bringing in perennials, things like that. But that's more like what Sandy should be talking about, what we're doing today.
What we're trying to do, because we certainly have a tight budget, we get some subsidy from the borough, but we also are a nonprofit Lions Club, so we don't have a lot of extra money to spend. So we've asked our members to donate any perennials they might have, and so you'll see that there are peonies down there that were started by David's grandmother. We have other plants that are donated by one of our members, some daisies. We have some roses Sharon that are going to be coming, and we also have things like irises and some daylilies that will be popping up, and we have some spring flowers or perennials planted. We have some daffodils and a couple tulips, so you'll see throughout the year different things will pop up. One of the things that's been very rewarding as we're working here, we're in such a high visible area, people will stop by and say, hey, thank you, it looks really great. So it encourages us to keep pulling weeds. So,
well, we certainly appreciate all you've done. But there's one plant in here that's pretty unique in itself, and that's the milkweed.
Oh, yes.
So if you can let us know a little bit about that, since they are unique to this area.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I've been reading about over the years is that milkweeds and the monarch butterfly, there's a tight connection there, and milkweeds are what the monarch butterflies need to feed on. As they migrate from the north down to the south, in the spring they'll turn around and the next generations will start migrating back to north. And the only way they survive is landing on milkweed plants, laying their eggs, eating the milkweed leaves, and they have to have milkweed. So when we were pulling weeds, I discovered milkweeds here. So we decided to let them stay here, and do have a flag here from an environmental group that's I donated to, and so we wanted to put that here to let everybody see. This is for the milkweeds. They are actually weeds, so if you have them in your yard, please don't throw them away. The monarch butterflies need them.
That's a terrific story. Well, we want to thank the Bethel Park Lions Club for taking over this particular planting area. This is probably as close to the middle of Bethel Park that you can actually get. And I just wanted to ask you just a little bit about your club in itself, if you can just give us a little information on the Lions Club itself.
Well, the Lions Club has been around for over 100 years now. The club here at Bethel Park was founded in 1942, and the big thrust of the Lions worldwide is helping people who are blind and hearing impaired. Here locally, we support a lot of local blind and hearing charities, but we also support a lot of community organizations, such as the Bethel Park football team, the library, other community organizations, the food bank at Shim, things of that nature. And we're just generally community-oriented kinds of people. And this is just another example of our community orientation.
Okay.
So we're always looking for new members. If you want to sign up, we'll be glad to get you.
Actually, I grew up, or didn't grow up, but my first house was in Somerset, Pennsylvania. And I was a member of the Lions Club in Somerset, Pennsylvania, going back quite a few years.
Oh,
So,
well, we'd love to recruit
yeah.
you to the Bethel Park Lions Club.
Yeah. But I want to thank you for doing this. I think after our residents see the program that we put on, they ride, obviously, as you can see, up and down this road continually, but now they'll have a little bit of different appreciation for what they're looking at. So thank you very much.
And thank you, Mayor Jack.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Mike Pompicelli. I'm here to talk to you today about a topic that most individuals do not think about, but as of late it seems to become an important issue given the fact that this COVID-19 virus has generated a crisis that stemmed a large purchase of toilet paper in most of our markets. This product seems to be the most sought after. I'm not certain that many people need 1,000 rolls of toilet paper, but it is a necessary product. But I'm here to talk to you today about what we should and should not be flushing down our toilets. It is imperative that individuals who have purchased alternative products because they can't get toilet paper on the shelves today understand that many of these products say perhaps flushable on the side or in the directions, but that doesn't mean that they should be flushed down the toilet. Like a lot of other products, baby wipes, paper towels, Kleenexes, all these products are considered non-biodegradable. And what that means is they do not degrade down readily easily. And therefore, the process, by the time they are flushed and reach the treatment facility, they may still be intact, unlike toilet paper, which degrades really easily and does not cause a problem to the sanitary systems. You begin to flush these products, and over time they could possibly build up either in your sewer lateral or in the sanitary main system. These buildups will eventually become backups and could be costly to the homeowner down the road. If you are unsure what to flush or not what to flush, on our website we have created a list under Do Not Flush, which states items that seem to be relatively self-explanatory, what not to flush down the toilet. The only things that should be flushed down the toilet are human waste and toilet paper. That's it. Anything else should go into the garbage. Other products that are on the list that should not be flushed down the toilet are also some of the products that you shouldn't be pouring down your sink drain as well, and that's grease, some products that fish waste and things like that. Those are products that you shouldn't also be flushing down the sanitary system, and that's where the kitchen sink leads to as well. So again, if you're looking for a complete list or just some of a list of what things you should not flush down the toilet, please visit our website at bethelpark.net and follow the guidelines to do not flush, and you'll find a list there. Okay, thank you, and have a nice day.
Okay, I want to thank everyone for joining in today to watching our show. We have half of our flower beds that you saw today on part 1. And part 2, we'll introduce you to the other flower beds and the people that maintain them. Again, thank you, and stay tuned next month for part 2 of Trolley Beautification Project.